completed BSc Chemistry from Sarvajanic College of Science. He completed MSc Physical Chemistry from South Gujarat University. He received a PhD degree from Veer Narmad, South Gujarat University in 2004. He joined Indian Institute of Technology, Madras in 2010. He has more than 19 years of research and 9 years of teaching experience. His areas of research are ionic liquids and chemical thermodynamics. He has 4 patents and 2 book chapters. He has published more than 140 research articles in the reputed journals. He has received many awards and honors from American Chemical Society, University of Delhi, Indian Council of Chemists, and he received a Young Scientist Award from Academy of Science, Chennai. I welcome Dr. Ramesh Gardas for this webinar. Now I request Professor Ramesh to take over the session. Thank you. During the session, kindly mute your audio. Now I'm over to Professor Ramesh.
Thank you, Dr. Mohan. I'm wondering, is it only 20 participants or are we waiting for a few more?
A few more participants will join, sir.
Are these our faculty or students?
All are faculty, sir.
Okay. Should I start or shall we may wait for a while? Because I see that was this expected that only 25 will be there?
Yes, sir, around 30 people, sir. You can start your session, sir.
Okay. Because I was expecting some more faculties. And all. That's fine, not a problem.
Yeah, okay.
And Dr. Mohan, I can go up to 40 minutes, isn't it?
You can take the session up to 4:50, sir. Last 10 minutes we can have question and answer session.
Please remind if I am overshoot the time, remind me at the last 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So good afternoon to all of you, and let me begin my talk and let me start sharing slides first. My slides are visible.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Well, let me begin thanking the organizers of this webinar on research methodology and the permissions and the approval from all the officials from St. Joseph's College, Bengaluru. It's my pleasure to today discuss with you about 2 key topics. It's slightly challenging to finish it in 40 minutes, both the topic, scientific literature search and writing for publication. So let me justify for both maybe 20 minutes each. Let's go into the topic. So as Dr. Mohan introduced me, I am from IIT Madras. We have a beautiful campus. If you had an opportunity to visit Chennai, please do visit IIT campus. I'm from chemistry department. We are about 34 faculties and working on almost contemporary research areas and vibrant research scholars. We are around 250 research scholars and 100 MSc students and 34 faculty. But anyway, today's my talk is nothing to do with chemistry. This is for all science subject, whether it is chemistry, physics, mathematics, or even any subject. The general research tips. I'll be slightly focusing on scientific for science people. So let us begin in the auspicious Navratri days with the blessings of the goddess of knowledge and the goddess of wealth. We need knowledge to get novel and contemporary ideas, and we need funds to execute them. So these are the key things for any research to grow. And if you see the research process, scientific research process, are the 5 key steps: research and discovery. Today we are going to talk on this. authoring and research output, writing. Today we are going to talk on this as well. But there are other three things like peer review, publish, and post publications. All these three are essential because after post publication, this will become literature and you will read on this and get more idea to write your research funds and authoring and so on. So all five are very essential. If you see, it start everything with an ideas, and then you look for collaborators or funding agencies, and then you write proposal, then you do the research. Actually you got money and you establish laboratory, you hire research scholars, you write tenders to get the chemicals and the equipments, and then you get the results, and then you write down the results into publications, and your publications become literature. People will read and people get further new ideas, and then it's the cycle process. All five steps are very crucial. Today we are going to talk a little bit about writing and a little bit about sharing. If you see globally, last 10 years, there were a time 10 years ago about 25 lakhs publications per year, but today it's more than 33 lakhs per year publications. And each publications cited references were early around 25 to 35 or 40. Today, each paper cite more than 40, or even the average is 47 publications per year. So the number of publications are growing very rapidly. Similarly, the number of cited reference is going very high. It's almost 9 crore citations or cited items per year. So this includes not only the publications, it also includes patents, books chapters, thesis, conference materials, conference proceedings, newspaper articles, magazine articles, and so on. That's why this number is very high compared to the number of publications. If you see the globally, we are at fifth position now, but this is combining last 10 years. But if you see only last couple of years, we are at the fourth, or even we are going to cross Germany very soon, and we will become third very soon. So it's really pride moment for Indians researchers that we are globally competing in spite of less amount of spend by funding agency and the government compared to all Western countries and other countries. However, the government also noticing this, and hopefully they will spend more money in research. And if you see globally, chemistry is dominating when you combine chemistry, material science, and biochemistry. It's divided into chemistry, material science, and biochemistry. Otherwise, individually, if you see, the medicines is the highest, and among the engineers, computer science people are more than physics, and then all other fields. So all fields are doing their own best, including mathematics, agriculture, social science, and everything. And so this is the world scenario in the last 10 years. Let's go into the scientific publishing process one by one. Out of these 5 key steps, today we will talk a little bit about research, literature search, and then authoring, writing, and all these things. And as I told you, everything starts with an ideas. And please remember, extraordinary ideas will require extraordinary evidences to prove this. Otherwise, it's like a dream. So all the question starts where to get an idea, how to get an idea. Executing parts comes later on. So most of the time, ideas comes from reading the literature, and ideas comes from attending talks like conferences and theme meetings, symposiums, and all these things. Idea comes from discussing with the like-minded people or discussing with other people. So ideas are there everywhere. Its only thing is how it strikes, how you pay attention. So you listen to the different varieties of the subjects and then see how you can contribute to that subject from your point of view. And that's where ideas are there. Anyway, so if you see the proposal, any research proposal or fundings, it starts with an idea, and you have to clearly mention when you write any proposal, what is the vision, benefits, deliverable, and what is your success criteria, what is the timeline, and what is the budget. So just having ideas are not enough. that idea should be executable, convinceable, doable, achievable within certain time and within limited fund. And that's where it's the all the important things matters a lot. And if you see publication, the left hand side I put it in the red color. This is the order you see, like title, abstract, keyword, introduction, method, results, discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement, references, and then supporting information. Nowadays it comes graphical abstract, highlights, and so on. But when you write this paper, you cannot go in this order. You starts with references. Any paper, if you want to write it nicely, it start with references. How many references you are going to read, you collate them and read about them and highlight and note down, and then you put your results into the crude way, and then method, then discussion. Anyway, I will tell you a little bit later on this one. This is the order generally we follow, and after writing entire paper and put it in that order, and then you go through. So today I will talk about 15 minutes about literature search, and then some tips, and then 15 minutes about writing research paper. As I told you, it's a little bit challenging, two topics in one go. So if you see Scopus, more than 100 countries are active in research publications. More than 70,000 institutes have been published at least one paper, and more than 16 million authors have been published in more than 5,000 publishers and 25,000 journals, 210,000 books, and over 2 lakhs conference proceedings. And all together today, there are 77 million articles in the Scopus, where cited number of references are more than 1.7 billion. Let us see these factors in another website, that is Clarivate Analytics Web of Science, more or less same, slightly high. More than 12,000 journals, more than 2 lakh conferences, more than 250 disciplines, 160 million articles in last 120 years with 1.7 billion references. Amazing. It's an ocean where our interest is very tiny. What this uncle is telling, no matter how carefully I surf in the internet, I always get too much information. There were days where not having information was a problem. And today, the biggest problem is too much information. We don't know what is reliable information. We don't know what is the information very much suitable to us. So most of the time we waste in finding the authenticity and finding the importance of these resources. And that's why we cannot replace teachers. No Google, no Wikipedia, or nothing can replace a good teacher. And we still need a good teachers and people collaborate. So if a PhD student spending 5 years or 260 weeks, how many papers one student can read, or how many you want he should read? How many papers cited in a thesis? 200, 300, 400? I don't think more than that. So will he or she reads all 400 papers? How to get that 400 paper or 300 paper out of 1.7 billion papers? So the question comes to mind: what to search, where to search, and how to search. Before answering these three questions, let us ask question number 0: why to search? The answer is very straightforward. You need to understand the best methods. You need to understand the gaps. You need to understand the background of the subject. You should feel comfortable in the subject. You should be familiar with the subject, and you should not repeat what already done. And that's the reason you need to do thorough literature search. If I ask second question, what to search? Question is very important, and the answer is only one word. And the answer is keyword. I put a collection of antique keys here. Hope you will like this. So you need to know varieties of the keywords of your own field, which are the search terms, which gives the key to open the lock of the door, which is opening a hall. So these are the key things for your success. If you know the collection of keywords, if you have large collection of keywords, that is the first criteria to be successful in getting better and better and new ideas and new meaning. let's go into this in depth. What are these keywords? See, the keywords are also important. The keywords are important to search and get the paper what you like on the top. Similarly, when you write and publish your own paper, the keywords only decides where your paper will appear on top or not when other students or other researchers after 5 years or 10 years or 20 years down the line, when they search in their field, your paper comes on the top or not. So the keywords are the key things. This can be based on experimental method. Keywords can be based on geographic region, or keywords can be disease, or keywords can be application. Keywords can be something which are the most important outcome of your paper. Let me ask such a way. Let's your paper, which you spend a lot of time in publishing, and after it published, somebody is reading. And once he completed reading, you are asking a question to him. Hey, what you understood from my paper, can you tell me in 1 or 2 lines? If the reader is telling the answer which you are expecting in 1 line or 2 line, and that is the core message of your paper, and that core message, when you boil down or when you put it in a few words, when you summarize the core message in few words, and that words are the keywords. So while making keywords or while searching, pay attention of spelling variation, spelling mistake, synonyms, and let's say British and UK English color with COLOUR or without U COLOR, or synonyms, liquid and liquids, or fluids, or singular and plural, child, childish, children, or man, men, or carbon dioxide and CO2, water, H2O. So you have to pay attention of spelling variation, you have to pay attention of abbreviation, you have to pay attention of and spellings and everything that will help you. I'll tell you more about that little bit later. Now the question comes, where to search? You can search in individual journals. Oh, it's too many journals, sir. Where to search? Okay. Then you search in a publishers like ACS, RSC, elsewhere, Stringer, Taylor, Taylor and Francis, Wiley. Oh, it is searching individual publisher also sometimes frustrating and time consuming. I agree. So to save time, instead of searching in individual publisher, individual journal, you can go through the collection of the publisher. So some journals is a part of one publisher. Some publishers are the part of a one search engine. So you can search directly in a search engine. Most famous one are SciFinder, Web of Knowledge, Scopus, and you can search in these search engines. Or unfortunately, all these search engines are subscribed. So to avoid the large subscription, you or your institute or your library has to pay, and I'm sure we cannot afford. So there are some free search engines are available like Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic, and ORCID, Mendeley, and Publons, and ResearchGate, something like that. So what you do from here, you may not get full text, but at least you can get an idea what topic is trending, which author is doing well, or which are the latest publications in your field. Everything you come to know free of charge. And these are the most common ones. There are few more, but these 5 are very well known in science and engineering. And sometimes you may have get full text, but that depends on the copyright and all these things. But is it enough? Instead of publishing in individual journal, you go to publishers. Instead of individual publisher, you go to the funding, search engines. Is it enough? No. You have to look for books. There are so many people who do not publish in a journal article. They just submit thesis or submit dissertation, or they only present in conference proceedings, or they have their own blogs, or they just deposit in repositories, or they write news articles or magazines or this. So you have to look for all the places other than journal articles like books, book chapters, thesis, conference proceedings, science blogs, magazines, repositories, and so on. Now the question comes, how to search? It's a very important question, and it's very difficult to explain everything in 10 minutes, but I will try my best to give you some glimpse and some tricks to get what you want. If you are writing a paper, you need around 30-40 references minimum. If you are writing a thesis, you need around 200-300 references minimum. So how to get these 200-300 references for a thesis, or 30-40 references for a paper? Or you want to have an idea in your field, you want to read only 10 papers. How to get this out of 1.7 billions? You definitely need a strategy. As I told you, whatever the core message you have, either from your thesis or from your paper or from your research of 5 years, ask that core message yourself and write the answer in 2-3 lines, maximum 2-3 lines. Now, these 2-3 lines is the answer. What could be the question, or what could be the appropriate questions you ask, so the answer would be this answer. And that question, can you further boil down or further make it smaller and smaller? In which concept, which keywords? Then you get a correct number of keywords, maybe 10, 15 or 25 keywords, and then choose appropriate database and search it and evaluate the search results. The most important thing is you should note down in the research. So you note down what strategy you followed, what results you got it, you save it appropriately, nicely, and you refine it and research, refine it and do it again and again and again and again and again. And this is a continuous process. It's a lifelong process. As long as you are involved in research, literature search should be there, and literature. So there are ways, shortcut ways to get it. Instead of you look for everywhere, paper should come to you. This is called keep me posted or alerts. I will tell about that also later on. So, but let us assume for a moment that you searched such a nice way and you got one important paper, only one. Believe me, only one paper you got it, and this paper, let's say, published 5 years ago in 2015, and that paper is very much relevant to your research field, and you are reading enthusiastically that entire paper. From this one paper, you can finish your entire literature search more than 50% or even 70-80%. So one point I would highlight here: forward citation and backward citation, or backward search and forward search. What it means? From that one important paper or one lucky paper what you got, you read that paper, in the reference section, that paper might have cited 30 to 40 references. So go through all these 30-40 references is called backward searching. If you have a HTML file, you open it in the online, in the internet, with the access if you have in that publisher, go to the same paper reference section, you may have a HTML links to all these 40 papers. Just click, you go to that. So since the original paper, which is published 5 years ago, is of very much importance for your field, I am sure that most likely all the cited references will be useful to you. So more or less until 2015, literature search is done by this paper for you. So all 30-40 will be useful to you. Now, this is called backward searching or backward citation. What is the forward searching and forward citation? The paper, single paper, which is published 5 years ago in 2015, and if that paper is very much relevant to many people, those people could have been cited this paper in the future after that paper published in 2015. Some people, researcher might have cited that paper alone in 2016, 17, 18, 19, and this year 2020. So the last 5 years, whoever cited that paper, which you believe that is the best paper for you, those new references are also very much important for you, and these are the latest one for you. And this kind of papers, I don't know how many, it depends on that paper's strength. It might be 10, it might be 15, it might be 100 also, or even it might be more than 100, thousands also possible. So these new references which cited your paper of interest, it's called forward search or forward citation. Many journals offers who cited that paper also just after everything over below that. ACS offers, RSC offers, or even you can go to SciFinder or Scopus or Google Scholar. Even those people you don't get the full text, those also offers free of charge. So these are the way. And one more way is getting alert. I will tell you that what it alerts later on. Now there is a strategy. I put some words in capital letters. You can write it in lowercase also. And or not near same. These are not a simple words. It's a search operators. So there is a strategy, and that strategy involved Boolean operators, proximity operators, and parentheses, and truncation, wildcards, and so on. So this are the Boolean operators. When I say science and technology, it will take science papers, technology papers, all, and the papers only having both will result will come. If I write science or technology, so all science papers without technology also comes, and all technology paper without science also comes. And from this figure, it is easy for you to understand the operator and or not or and not. So science, not technology, if I say, it will take science papers and it is excluding the technology words from that one. So these are the nice Boolean operators. You can write it in uppercase or lowercase. And these are the wildcards. Out of 4 wildcards I presented here, dollar, question mark, asterisk, and parenthesis, most common are the last 2. See, generally dollar used at the end for one character or more character. Character is one letter. When I say child dollar, child will search all the words until space comes. All the letters, all the words start with child, like children, childish, childlike, childhood, children, all these things. But it should come only at the end. The question mark is alternate spelling only one character, only single, one letter. If I write woman or woman, I don't know whether it is a singular or a plural, either with A or all with E, then I will put WOM question mark N. But these two are not so common because the asterisk or the star do all the process for you. It can be in the middle, it can be at the end, it can be 0 character, it can be 1 character, it can be more than 1 character. How wonderful the star it is. It's really star for us, or asterisk, whatever you say. So if I put Hoffman and I'm not sure about the spelling, I'll just put HOF star MAN star. So it will take either anything there in between, or it will take 1 letter or 2 letter or 3 letter or so on. Or here we say characters. You can combine one or both. For example, I have given example here, organization with S or Z or plural or superlative. All this can be searched with one single word. And that's the beauty of using wildcard. You may ask, sir, can I combine in a search term Boolean operators and wildcards both? Yes, why not? You can club more than one truncation or more than one Boolean operators, and there are proximity operators. If I say canine near /10 virus, I want canine and virus both in a single paper, and both should be nearby 10 words. There should be no more than 10 words in between. So even though paper contain canine and virus, but they are very far, it will not pick. If somebody's name has been changed, for example, Chennai, Madras become Chennai, or something like that, Bangalore become Bengaluru, you write same. So Chennai, same, Madras. So it takes both in a sense. You may ask, sir, what about or? You can use or. No, or also can use, but when you use both same and or in a single search term, there is a precedence who will go first. And it has its own unique nature. So proximity operator, wildcards, Boolean operators, all can be used in a single search term. If all used, there is a rule who will go first. Near will go always first, then same, then not, then and then or. Here, a researcher wanted that algae results with copper or lead, and he put search term copper or lead and algae. Answer, he got a wrong results. Why he got a wrong results? As per search precedent, and will go before or. So When you search copper or lead and algae, so first operator was and the results took in the first instance lead and algae. Then it searched copper or lead and algae. So whether copper is there or not, all results came only with lead and algae, and the copper results missed. Actually, his intention was either copper or lead should be there, and result should be with algae. It's a large pool, but he got a wrong results only with lead and algae. So either you should follow this precedent, and if you don't, sir, how many rules we remember? Is there any shortcut? Yes, there is a shortcut. To go to that shortcut, you will put a parenthesis bracket copper or lead and algae. So once you put parenthesis, all rules and all regulation, you don't care whether and is going first or this one. So individual bracket is a separate operators. So that will help you a lot. So please remember, use as many as Boolean operator, proximity operator, truncation cards, no problem. But as per your requirement, use as many parentheses as possible. And there are some stop words like I put so many A and E's or because that, this and all these things. If I ask you a question, Department of Science and Technology, how many words are there? You may say, sir, Department of Science and Technology, 5. Not 5. There are only 3 words, keywords, Department, Science, Technology. And is a Boolean operator and off is a stop word. So off is in the stop word. What are the stop words? Whether you type or you do not type, the search will not take it. Because these are so common, it appears in so many papers. So all paper come on the top and you will miss the paper of your choice or your search. And you may get frustrated. And you may not use that search engine again. So to avoid that, all search engines put some stop words. It depends from search engine to search engine. But there are very common words they always remove. Now, you may ask me question, sir, if the stop word itself is my keyword, what will happen? So that times you have to put it in parentheses or inverted comma. And that can be searched. So that is also one way. Anyway, let me go through a little bit quick. Do not be so greedy and search 10-15 words at a time. There should be a way. You search in 2-3 words or 2-3 operators and mix it, and that results you again club, and that is the way to go. So here it is a search result. The red one is out of 11 keywords, but they have done 6 operators. After 6 times search, they got this result. If they put in the first instance itself, there is an automatic cutoff time. The search engine will be keep searching, and if the time limit comes, it's still 0 results. So to avoid that cutoff time, you don't give very long search term, like 11 keywords. So you have to do with the smaller one, and that result section you club it later on. There are strategies. It's not possible to tell everything in half an hour, or you have to practice your own. So assume you got a 300 papers. Now how to summarize them? You summary and holding can be like a funnel kind of things, how to organize. Anyway, this is not a part of our field. So it can be year wise or a theme wise or a method wise or a agreement and disagreement wise, or the easiest way what you will get it, you can get. I will tell you in 1 minute about getting alerts. Alerts are free. You heard it nice. Correct. Alerts are free. Alerts can be set in many websites. Instead of you look for latest results here and there, results should come to you. It might happen while I am talking to you in this 45 minutes, some latest paper could have come in my field. So as soon as I complete my talk, if I check my email, one alert should come. Hey Ramesh, in your field, this is the latest paper, you got it, you read it. Alerts can come with the HTML link. So how to go? You go to the individual journal website or a publisher website or a search engine website, look at the top corner, login or a register. If you see register, register there. If you see login, just try to log in with the wrong username and password. And once you create your login and register there, search any keyword, search for author, search for publication or search for citation. And then you look for left-hand side panel or the top, it's called save or set alert. Every website is available and free of charge. And then you can set weekly, monthly, daily, instantaneously. You can set like a Word file, or not what you call text file or HTML file, but don't be greedy. If it is free and you put so many keywords, so many authors, so many publications, set alerts, then what happen? You get so many emails and you frustrate and you may delete. It's instead of saving time, you may waste in time. So choose appropriate way. If possible, create a new email ID so all research will be there and all alerts go there. Don't give that email ID to anywhere, any place. And alerts can be set all this website, all these search engines, all these publishers free of charge. Now let me spend some 10 minutes. I'm overshooting the time. Hopefully I'll take 5 more minutes, and writing a papers I will tell you. Okay. Research paper is an academic writing. It's a formal writing. It is not like SMS or WhatsApp message you send to your friend or family or parents. What you wrote, what you publish will stay lifelong. And it is not the person who knows you. See, informal messages read by people who knows you. Even if it is spelling mistake, even if you are meaning something else, they understand. But once your paper is published, it is going to be there forever and will be read by different level of people, young people or experienced people, or who are new to field, and different countries. They may know or they may not know English well. All people will read. So you have to pay much more attention for the clarity in academic writing and a scientific writing. So research paper is a scientific writing, academic writing, formal writing based on scholars' original idea or original ideas gathered from the literature, and it's a critical analysis on particular topic. It is an interpretation of the results finding either from literature or by own, and it's a comparison of the different methods, result achieved from different approaches, different methods, from your own existing method to the earlier literature methods, and explanation of the trends with the logical and convincing arguments with the proper scientific basis and justification. This is not enough. You will further give what are the best methods under given circumstances for a given set of conditions in the given set of temperature, pressure, composition, concentration, all the restrictions, and you suggest how to fill the gaps between earlier work to this work, which are the best methods to take it forward. If this work goes into the large section, what are the cost economics and what are the promising paths for this research to develop further in future by your contemporaries and by youngsters, how this work will be useful for society at the large and the industry at large, if not society and industry, at least for your peers. Those people going to do research in your field in future, how this will help you and how to take it forward. Everything should be included. If not everything, as many things as possible applicable to your paper should be included. So research paper can be as small as one paragraph and as big as maybe like a thesis or 40-50 pages, depending on your type, and the paper size will vary. And understand how much time you spend to get your results, get your funds, get your paper written, and how much time spent by editor and reviewer. To tell you in short, once you submit a paper, editorial office will check initial checks like whether you followed word count limit, page limit, or plagiarism or not. And once editor look at it, he or she may spend few seconds to few minutes, but not definitely hours. Let's say on average, an editor may take 2 to 5 minutes per paper, which you took more than 1.5 years from starting from writing to proposal to get the results and submit. Your 1.5 years work judged by editor in 2 to 5 minutes to decide whether he wants to send for review or not. And the reviewer once accept, he or she may spend time 2 times or 3 times in a given set of 3 weeks or 4 weeks time, not more than 1 hour or half an hour each. So overall, a reviewer on average spends 1 hour to 3 hours max on your paper. So think, your 1.5 years of work's fate decided by editor in 2-3 minutes or 5 minutes, decided by reviewers in 2-3 hours. So it's your duty to explain everything crystal clear. They are not here to ask you. Editor will not call you or send an email. Reviewer will not call you or send an email that, hey Ramesh, I didn't understood what you mean to say here, can you explain? All entire paper is nice, but this point I am not understand. He will tell clearly this point is not clear, so not accept. So it's our duty to present everything very clear. So let me skip some things, so you may ask me the questions. So later on I will tell you this one, because I don't want to take other speakers time. Take one A4 sheet. Okay, this is, I call it the Picasso painting of your paper. Take one A4 sheet, put in the center one circle. Ask yourself, what is the core message you want to give from this paper? Core message. You should clear that what is the message you want to give from this paper or this book chapter or this thesis. That core message you write in small words, 10 words or 5 words in a sentence. 5 or keywords or some small line. Language is not a matter. You write in any language. Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Hindi, English, Gujarati, Marathi, Punjabi, Sindhi, any language you write. The thing is, you should clear about your paper what you want to explain. English language comes later. So write in the core, in the center, what message you want to give in 4 or 5 keywords. Now put arrow bars all 4 sides. First side, left side corner. What is earlier known? Where is the gap? What literature says? Which are the best method? What you want to follow? So what you ask question earlier done, you write it on the top corner. So how you are following, now you come to the right hand side, which methods you are going to allow, what conditions you want to study, and how you have performed this study to achieve your middle core theme. Now you come down left side or the right side of the bottom. If by achieving this one, what your results you got, what are your results? You'd write it down, and all everything in your own language and in a keywords in all different colors. You see, are like a painting. Now you come to the bottom right side. By seeing these results, what you found as a key answers or a key paths to go to your message. So what was earlier known, how you achieved. So your key results are in the center. How these results known earlier, how you what were known earlier, how you achieved these results, or what are the methods? If so, what you observed, so what it giving you the meaning. So how, what, and this kind of questions you ask and answer yourself, and put everything in a single paper. And take now one paper, you have to make it in 5 pages. 5 pages you take. Just write the title, introduction, method, results, discussion, conclusion. Only 5 pages. This time you can take in computer, soft copy in Word file, or hard copy outside. The first one is a Picasso painting hard copy. So see your Picasso painting. Now you have 5 pages with 5 title, introduction, method, result, discussion, and conclusion. Each one you write points. Don't worry about language, don't worry about the order, don't worry about the flow, don't worry about the English. Just you should know what you want to put in your paper. And once you put all points individually for method, result, discussion, and conclusion, and write little bit about that in your own language, without any flow, without any grammar, without any English correction, then you understand what methods you have taken, which instrument you used, what conditions you have applied, what results you got, whether achieved goal or not. If you achieved these results, so what? Everything you are in 5 pages without any flow, without any language correction and grammar correction. At this point, you will get a confidence that yes, I can write a paper. And then you can say that I started writing a paper. So what you have so far, 30-40 references downloaded, read, and you have 5 pages rough draft, and you have results with you. then you add references, add results, write methods, write discussion, and go in this flow. And this is the few steps to write to the paper. So please remember whatever your core theme, what were the main objectives, what are the best methodologies you have used, what are the claims, how these claims are better comparing to earlier work, and don't forget to compare with the results and give the core message how your research will influence the society or the industry at the large, if not society and industry, at least peers in your own field. Okay, I will skip all the slides. If you want, I can share the slides with the organizers and then you can take it from them. And remember, include less amount of text, as many as number of pictures, figures, tables, schemes, equations, charts, plots, schematic diagrams, flow charts. All these are very, very essential, and good formatting is very, very good. Quality is important, but look also, format also very important, because many people go through quickly to judge either by title or by figures or by the citations and all these things. And don't forget to cite more references from your own paper, or what you call the wherever you are submitting or wherever the publisher you are submitting. These are the strategies to develop the journal. And remember, if your claims are extraordinary, you have to provide evidence also extraordinary. No exaggeration, but reader friendly, continuous flow. It's like a family movie. It's not like a suspense movie or a horror movie. It should be a continuous flow. It's like a story. Anyway, I will try to stop in 1 minute. There are so many reasons why your paper get rejected. If it is not fitting to the scope, if the problem is not appropriately mentioned, if methods are not described, over interpretation, or results are not matching with table and figures and text, or statistics are not correct, table is telling something, paper is telling something, conclusions are very high-fi, but you are not supported with data, or outdated literature review, or intentionally you have avoided some results to this one, or flow is not there, grammar, English is important. Now I am telling, once everything you understood, put it in a nice way. And the experimental design should be as latest as possible. There are many ways to read your papers and understand the keywords. Scientific publishers, get alerts, search engines, if not subscribed one, free one are there. You go through. You, in this way, you are in line with the people who are in your field. What are the keywords they are using, where they are publishing. You get a lot of information either through Google Scholar or Microsoft Academic, or with one profile for the government institutes in India. More than 55 latest experts profiles are here. All Indians profiles are here, centrally funded and central universities. And there are so many theses are online. There is a provision for plagiarism check for a government institutes, universities affiliated to UGC and so on. You follow. I do not recommend that you follow many people, but it's a waste of time. How you manage time. But most of the time, many researchers and many publishers nowadays sharing their latest results in the social media also, especially Twitter and LinkedIn. So you follow them and understand, and you create your own profiles here. There are so many websites. I'm not going to do it everywhere. And finally, home assignment for your students, or you give young researchers, can you make list of 25 keywords? Can you make a list of top 50 papers in your field published in last 5 years? Whether you have access or not, that is different. Have you registered for alerts in publishing website and search engine? At least 3 publisher and 2 search engine. Do you know what are the top journals in your field, whether you publish there or not? Do you have a contact of top 20 people in India and top 20 people abroad in your field, with their name, with their affiliation, with their email ID, and with their office phone number? Have you created your profile in all these search engines and free profiles of ORCID, ResearchGate, Mendeley, Publon, Microsoft Academics? If not, will you create? Scopus profile will be automatic once you publish first paper. Have you communicated in with these people about research? Have you greet them occasionally, New Year or any other occasional. Do you follow few people in social media, whether it is Twitter or these things? So this is the way to be connected. So search engine works on softwares or codes or algorithm, but for us, if you know keywords, you will get the right target. And that's where the research starts getting an idea. So stay safe, stay healthy, stay digital, stay connected, and stay updated. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And sorry, I rushed a little bit because I have to cover 2 topics in one time. I'm ready to take few questions now, or you can write to me to my email, whatever you say.
Thank you, Professor Ramesh, for the wonderful and highly informative session with a short duration. Now the session is open for the discussion. If you have any questions, you can ask a few questions to Professor Ramesh.
Sir, I'm Dr. Shandy Matthew from St. Joseph's College. I have one doubt. When you give reference, whatever references are given, do we have to mention? Let's say we are taking one concept and we're giving the reference. And in that reference, they're given so many other references. Let's say sometimes there'll be 4 or 5. Is it our responsibility to show those references also? Or the latest one reference is enough?
Good question. Good question. We do have a limitation in number of references. So what you should do as much as possible, the original idea from where generated. So that might be very oldest reference, or that oldest reference might have not clear idea and somebody later on stage maybe clarified. So as per your topic, which suits well, you have to give 1 or 2. It is not necessary that all people in that field, if that is the case, then you may end up having more than 200-300 references, and that's absolutely impossible to cite everything. But as much as possible, to the point, very core and very latest one, and also where it is a generated idea. So you can club 2-3 key points. One, actually who started this concept, that is one. Then who developed this substantially or significantly, that is one. And the third one, if you want to take latest one also in line with that, you take it. While taking this, it is also challenging, and also you have opportunity to choose whatever you like, because all may be equally important and you are choosing out of 10, 3. So while choosing this 10 probable, from 10 probable you are choosing 3, pay attention who are more reputed in the field, or where you are submitting your paper. Is it of the same publisher? Is it of the same journal? Sometimes when editorial board check or editorial office check your paper, they also check which paper you cited. So based on that cited reference, sometimes they just take a decision whether this kind of cited reference are in line with our objectives or not. So that is also helpful you. So that's why I told you, it's on top of the challenge, it is also opportunity. So you take that kind of papers, and not everything, few. And as I told you in between, when you cite references, please pay attention. Just to justify your paper is suitable to the journal where you are submitting, make sure out of 30, 35, 40 references you are citing, at least 1 or 2 or 3 from the journal where you are submitting, and few more in that contemporary field or the contemporary objectives or that publishers. That give you the confidence for the editorial office and editor that yes, it is suitable.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome. Anybody else? Dr. Mohan?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam.
This is Jinsi from St. Joseph School CBSE. I have a doubt regarding the publication. Many authors are using the images, right?
Yes.
With the citation, if any work is related with research, there will be images. So is there any criteria about the quality of the image?
Yeah, it is every journal has a very good question, madam. Very good question. I am happy that you asked this question. Every journal and every publishers have given author guidelines. What could be the image quality? What could be the image size? If it is not there, means it is a free. So you can use any size and any quality. But when you reproducing any other earlier work image, it comes under plagiarism. Earlier, people were only thinking that text cannot be reproduced. Now, image reproduction also can be considered under plagiarism, and there are softwares which can easily detect. So, if it is absolutely essential for you to republish earlier work, even if it is your own paper, that is called self-plagiarism. Your own paper also, once you publish, you give copyright and you cannot republish that one. So you have to take a permission. It's easy nowadays. You can ask online. If it is not for commercial purpose, it's only for non-commercial, they will give free of charge, and still you have to cite that reference. Did I answer your question, Madam Jinsi?
Thank you, sir. Actually, I have 1 year experience with Elsevier. I was working with one publishers. So we used to check the quality of the image when we are receiving the publications.
Yeah,
so
that should be comes under author guidelines. It should be, if elsewhere is giving author guidelines, the image size and everything.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We will have 1 or 2 questions.
Nobody is asking. Let me ask one important question. I purposefully skipped because generally people ask this question. Sir, how to choose a journal where to submit? Many people ask this question. I am wondering, nobody is asking here. So let me ask myself and let me answer. So meantime, you can type your questions if you have. And Dr. Mohan sir, please look at the time. I don't want that the next speaker should wait long. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have 5 minutes, sir.
Yeah. So the question is where to submit, how to know the journal which is suitable. So there are 3-4 answers for this. The first one, every journal have their own objectives. So go through that. Is your work's objectives and the journal's objectives are matching or not? This is one way. And the second way, the people whom you think the top people in your field, whether it is from India or abroad, see where they are publishing. If exactly they are in your research line and they are publishing in somewhere, then you need not to worry. You can publish there blindly because they are in the top, according to you, they are in the top level in your field. So either go by objectives of the journal matching, and you go by your contemporaries, and then you go by editorial board where reputed publisher is reputed, editorial board is reputed, and they are known in your field, so you can publish there. Moreover, now many publishers giving journal finder link. You just submit only title and abstract. It will, based on the number of words and the type of the words, its algorithm, and that enter words of abstract of, let's say, 100 words, it takes as a keywords and it match with the software, the journal's keywords. So journal's objective also it takes as a keywords. Your abstract also take as a keywords, and it's match and display, but it is only publisher to publisher. All publishers has. In one of the slides I gave that links. Wiley has that, Elsewhere has that, and Springer has that, and moreover, Journal Citation Report of Clarivate also has that. So one of the way is go through that abstract matching. One way is go through the journal's guidelines or the objectives, and the best way is to see where your peers are publishing. But keep one thing in mind: your paper should be read by more people, or reach should be as large as possible, especially in your own contemporaries who are reading what papers, which journal. So you cannot publish, even if it is a hi-fi journal, such a way that nobody reads this kind of area there. So reach is more important than the impact factor. I'm done, Dr. Mohan. unless somebody has any more questions.
We have two questions, sir.
Yeah.
Can you please tell about the publishing in Scopus, because it's all the time difficult to publish in the Scopus.
No. Scopus is not a publisher. First thing, let me say. Publishers are elsewhere, and what you call, I told SciFinder or elsewhere, or RSC, ACS, Wiley, Talent. These are the publishers. Scopus is a search engine. Or you might be say the Scopus indexed journals, or ISSN number indexed journal, or you might be say high impact journals, or you might be say reputed journals. I understand. Or you might be saying not the journals which have been not listed under UGC guideline or Scopus. The only way is to improve the quality. It takes time, and do some daring, submit there directly. If they are giving some comments, accept it, improve, again submit, change it, accept it. Or initially you take help from somebody senior in your lab, or in your department, or in your institute, or read more about the people in that, or target some journal, read more about how the journal is growing and what quality it should require. Is my work is enough, or my results are enough? And then improve English, improve the quality of figures, and don't write too much extra, just to the point. And instead of writing too long things, make it simple English, very straightforward, and then make as many as images, or text reduce, comparison table, and take latest references. These are the key things. Trying. That's the only way. Improving the quality and introspecting and all these things. So another question is, self-plagiarism is accepted how much? It depends on the institute to institute. It depends on the publisher to publishers. It is absolutely impossible 0% match. When you check plagiarism check, at least 2%, 3%, 5%, 10% will be there. And institute to institute vary when they submit thesis, especially if your papers are published already. 30-35% plagiarism is accepted, because entire your work is published. If it is work is not published, it should be less than 10. When you submit to journal, editor will decide, editorial office will tell. If it is more than 20-25%, editorial office itself will reject. But if it is less than 20, then editor will take a call whether you want or not. But anything less than 10, I think it's okay. But in less than 10 also, not entire paragraph should be there, or full sentence should be there. It should be at the various places. And not only the percentage of matching, but also people see at a stretch how many words are matching. That is also very important. So it should not match more than 8 or 10 words at a stretch, or 15 words at a stretch. In top of that, overall matching should not cross 10 or 15%. It depends publisher to publisher and institute to institute. Chicago Journal rank, I am not sure. There are so many ranks are there. If you are at the early stage, my friends, if I can call you as my friend, please focus on your work and quality and improve. Find out that how you can reach to the wider section of your field. Do more collaboration, do networking, either through social media, or through emails, or through attending more and more conferences, or appreciating people, or organizing conferences. And then once you know in your field, in national level or international level, automatically your papers will be cited, your citation will be reached, H-index will reach you, and wherever you are publishing, that journal's rank will go high. And don't worry, all this ranking and all these things early stage. Of course, you need, when you need a job, or when you need a promotion, or when you need a look for that, I understand that, but you focus more on quality, focus more on reach to the wider section. All other things will come as a byproduct. Dr. Mohan, shall we stop?
Yes, sir. We have another session, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
On behalf of Father Principal and SJC Management, SJC Research Committee and staff members, I express my sincere thanks to our guest speaker, Dr. Ramesh, for highly informative information with a short duration. I hope all of you enjoyed this session. Have a good time. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. And please excuse me, I have another meeting, so I may not attend the entire session. I will stay for a while and then I will leave. Thank you.
There will be another session. Now I request Dr. Raisa to take over the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohan. So after that first enlightening session, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the second session of today in this webinar of research methods in physical sciences. Our second speaker for today is Dr. Leena Shenoy. She is Associate Professor from the Department of Mathematics from BMNIT Bangalore. She brings with her over 20 years of teaching and 14 years of research experience. And her PhD was in the area of graph theory in mathematics from VTU Belagavi. Now over to you, Leena ma'am, to enlighten the audience with your research expertise. Dr. Leena, are you able to hear?
Raisa, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Happy evening to all. Today, I would like to explain research methodology in layman's language. So let me begin with a small narration. Most of you would have heard this, but still to connect the dots, let me narrate it. There was a timber merchant and he hires a woodcutter named Raj. Raj was physically very strong, so the merchant offers him a good pay. And in turn, Raj decides to do his best. The merchant gives him an axe and explains him what is expected from him. As you all know, as a timber merchant, he expected Raj to get a large number of log of woods every day. Accordingly, first day, Raj gets 18 logs. And the merchant becomes very happy. He appreciates Raj. And motivated by this, the second day, Raj tries harder, but he could get only 10 logs. The third day, he tries even harder, but could get only 5 logs. Day by day, the number of logs he was bringing drops down. Worried by this, Raj started thinking, maybe I am losing my strength. That is why my efficiency is dropping down. And after a few days, the timber merchant hires one more woodcutter named Vijay. Vijay was same both in age and in physique as that of Raj. But after a few days, he starts getting appreciation and even hike in his pay. Disturbed by this, Raj goes and speaks to his boss. Now the boss explains him the reason for Vijay to get hike in his pay. And also he tells him about his consistency in his performance. Also, the merchant suggests Raj to have a talk with Vijay to know the secret for the same. Now Raj goes to Vijay and he speaks to him. He asks Vijay, my dear friend, I have been working for such a long time. I'm putting sincere effort and doing hard work, but I am not able to show consistency in my performance or any improvement in my work. But how could you manage this? Now, Vijay thinks for a while and asks Raj, when was the last time you sharpened your axe? Sharpened? I didn't get any time to sharpen my axe. I was so busy in cutting the woods, replies Raj. Now, Vijay says, my dear friend, this is where you have stumbled. Yes, I do work hard. I too put sincere effort. But during that process, in between, I take small breaks. And in that break, I not only relax my body, even I sharpen my axe and get ready to continue my work. Yes, this applies to each and every aspect of our life, including research. So now I would like to ask you all one question. How many of you have sharpened your axe before you could get into research? With this note, let me take you through the process that is involved in research work. Yes, my dear friends, it is a process. Research is a systematic and logical procedure that has to be followed step by step in order to gain knowledge and explore new things about a particular topic. Yes, here I stress upon the word systematic and to be followed step by step. Because suppose if you randomly pick a topic and start doing research, after doing rigorous research and getting some new findings, after analysis and discussion, if you get some new findings, yes, definitely it will be so exciting. But later when you do literature survey, if you get to know that this work has been already done by somebody, you just imagine your condition. That is why this has to be done systematically and step by step. Now let us see what are the steps involved in this research process. Just a minute, I'll share my screen. Just 2 seconds. Is it visible?
Yes.
Lisa? Is it
Yes,
visible?
madam. Yes, madam.
Okay. Now let us see what are the steps involved in this research process. The first and foremost thing is identifying area of our research. Yes, this is very important and it is very challenging even, because this is going to be base or the starting point of your research. So this has to be done very meticulously, because in your journey of research, you may encounter numerous problems, and if you have interest in your topic, then you can easily overcome all those difficulties. That is why the topic should be by choice, not by chance. Now, yes, how to identify that area of research? That is a big question. And to do this, a lot of background work is required. Yes, let me give one small example. Suppose if you plan to buy a house, how much background work and survey you do, isn't it? Yes. You visit so many projects, that is ongoing or completed projects. You see the location. You find out the facilities offered by the projector. And then the accessibility, how far it is from the metro station or from your workplace or from the hospital, bank, school, etc. After doing so much, even you inquire about the price. Then you compare this price with the prices offered by other projects. And you do so much of survey and analysis. And after this, you are going to discuss this with your relatives, friends, colleagues, well-wishers. And based on that, you are going to decide whether to go ahead with that project or not. Yes, the same thing applies even while identifying the area of research. You need to do a lot of background study here. Need to read a lot of books, research papers, dissertation work, or projects or thesis, whatever it is available, just to read it and study their findings. And while doing this, you may find some topic which is very interesting. And that is how you identify the topic of your research. And this gives you a clear picture of what you may be doing in your research work. This is how you need to identify the area of your research. Now, once after identifying the area of your research, the next step is literature survey. Yes, literature survey is not just Googling out for the information. Definitely, it is to gain the knowledge and to avoid duplication of work. But here you are going to study the history of your topic. That is how the topic has evolved. For that, you need to study the findings or contributions made by different researchers towards the topic of your interest. And even to certain extent, you need to analyze their contributions or findings. And after analysis, you make note of all your observations and then discuss it with your research group, among your research group. also with your supervisor. While doing this, you may identify some of the gaps which are not addressed. Or sometimes some researchers might have mentioned about these gaps as open problems in their conclusion part. Now, you identify few such gaps which needs to be addressed and write your statement of problem. Now, once after writing the statement of the problem, you are going to decide how you are going to expand or build on this topic. And what is your contribution that you are going to do towards the existing knowledge in that particular topic. And for this, you need to refer quality papers. Yes, you need to have some quality papers to study in order to get good results or to identify the gaps which are to be addressed. How do you do this? Yes, for the beginners, I can give a tip. Instead of Googling in the Google search, you can go to Google Scholar and make use of the features to optimize your search or to narrow down your search. Let me show you one simple feature that you can make use in Google search. I'll stop my share, Raiza, for a few minutes.
Yes, sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Is it visible, Google Scholar? No?
You'll have to reshare the screen.
Yes, just a minute. Okay. Now, can you see this Google Scholar? This one, is it visible? The screen is visible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Now, suppose if you want to search for a topic in Google Scholar, let me give you some simple tips using which you can optimize your search. Yes. In this Google Scholar, suppose if you want to search for a topic, let me take Hamiltonicity. And click on this, you get a number of papers in which this word appears, Hamiltonicity appears either in the title or in the content. Now, suppose if you want to narrow down your search, you can use this Boolean expression along with this and use few more keywords to narrow down your search. For example, now you have here 6,990 results. Now I'll give along with this and I'll click on this. See here, now you get only one result. That is, it can be narrowed down by using the Boolean expression and the related keywords. Now, suppose if you have a list of papers and you would like to refer these papers in future, you can click on this star so that it gets stored in your library. You can go to here, my library, and those papers will be stored here. And for your future reference, you can go back to your library and you can refer those papers. Now, even you can you can make use of other features. You can see here below this first paper, that determinant sum of undirected Hamiltonicity. You can see here number of the cited papers. That is cited by 216. That means this paper has been cited by 216 authors. And if you want to go through this, you can click on this and you get the list of cited papers, 216 papers you can see. So this is how you can backtrack. That is, suppose if you want to search the paper, that is who has introduced that, how it evolved. Suppose if you want to backtrack, you can make use of this feature. Also, you can find the related articles by clicking on this. Now, one more feature you can make use of is here you can make use of the time, that is any time it is given since 2020, then 2019, even you can customize here by giving here 2015 to 2020, and you can get list of papers published in that duration. By clicking on this, you can find out the list of papers which are published during that duration. Even you can make use of one more feature of this Google Scholar, that is advanced search. Yes, you can click on this advanced search, and here you can give some keywords or exact phrase which you expect it to be in that article, or even you can mention the keyword which you expect that to be in the article title. Then you can give it here and click on this, and if you click on the search, you get the papers in which the title contains this exact phrase which you expect to be. Even you can mention here the author's name and get list of publications which are authored by that particular person. Likewise, here, if you give the publication, that is journal name, and click on this, you will get list of publications which are published in that particular journal. And in the last, here, return the articles dated between so and so. That is, if you give here duration, that is 2016 to 2018, and give search, you can get the list of papers which are published in that duration with this exact phrase. You can mention here the phrase and give this duration, and you get the list of papers published during that duration. This is how you can make use of the features that are available in the Google search. This is just for the beginners. I have given the tip. Even if you want to, so one more tip I would like to mention about, that is in library, if you have so many papers, suppose you have number of papers, and if you want to label it, you can go and click on this, and when you select this, if you click on this tag, you can tag your paper, you can create or you can label this, and it will be stored in your library, and for your future reference, you can directly go to that label and you can refer that particular paper. This is how you can make use of the features that are available in the Google. Now let me again go back to my slides. Now you know how to identify the area of research and how to do the literature survey. Now, the next step is, after identifying that, how to write the synopsis. Yes, you know the area of your research. You have identified the gaps. And now your work is to write the synopsis. Now the synopsis will have 4 main parts. That is, first one is introduction. Second is review of literature survey. Third is statement of your problems. And the final one is references. These are the 4 main parts I'm talking about. So let us see what you need to include in introduction part while writing synopsis. In introduction, you are going to give the basics of your topic. Also, few of the terminologies which you have used that you are going to mention in this introduction part. Then, objective or purpose of your study along with few of its applications you need to mention in this introduction part. Next comes review of literature survey. That is the second part of your synopsis. Now you would have done survey of so many books and papers you would have read, and based on that, you would have defined your statement of problem. So in the literature survey, you are going to mention about the work or findings or contributions that are made by different researchers in that particular topic of your choice. Also, here you need to give a brief analysis of their findings. Now, you would have identified the gaps, or you would have picked some open problems. So based on that, write your statement of problem. And in this, also mention about the significance. What is the significance of your area of research and methodologies which you are going to adopt in order to carry out your research. And the last part is references. Yes, in these references, you are going to give a list of papers or books which you have referred in order to gain knowledge in your particular topic, and also to identify the research gaps in order to define your statement of problem. This is how the structure of your synopsis should be. Now, once after writing synopsis, now your work starts actually. Yes. Some of the basic, that is prerequisites you need to fulfill, that is completion of your coursework. During that coursework, some of the universities, they offer a set of subjects, or some universities, they may give choice. In case if you are given a choice to select the subject, you please select the subjects which are related to your topic. And try to finish it within the given time frame. And meanwhile, you need to focus on some of the tools or softwares that are required in order to carry out your research. You need to learn some softwares or some of the tools which are required to carry out your research. Now, once after doing this, next your focus should be on your statement of problems. Yes, you would have selected, or you would have defined in your synopsis 4 to 5 problems. And now you pick one by one and work on that. And while working on these problems, you need to give more importance to find solution to that problem in the form of a characterization or generalization. I mean, instead of finding solution to a particular problem, you can try to generalize or characterize that result which holds good for a set of problems. That result holds good for a set of problems. And this will have more weightage. So once after doing this, you have to justify your result. Yes. How do you justify your result? For that, you need to write the proof using some technical steps, that is, logical steps or technical steps to validate your result. Using that, write proof for your findings. And this has to be done for each and every problem that you have defined in your synopsis. Now, after doing this, now you have identified area of research. Then you have done literature survey. And prerequisites you have finished, that is coursework. You have learned the basics, what is required, that you have done. And you have started with your research work and you have worked on those problems which you have defined in your synopsis. Now, the last part of your research work is writing thesis. Yes. This thesis is just elaboration of what you have mentioned in your synopsis. That is, this thesis should contain 5 different parts. That is, first one is introduction. Second is review of your literature survey. Third is your chapter-wise findings, your findings which you are going to you are going to write it in chapter-wise. And the fourth one, that is the fourth part or the last but one part, is summary of your findings. And the last one is bibliography. Okay, now let us see what you need to include in your introduction part. Yes, in introduction, you are going to give all the basics and all the terminologies, whatever you have used in your research work. In detail explanation, you are going to write in introduction part. Also, if you have defined some new concept or some definition, if you have defined, then you need to include that in introduction part. Also, in this introduction part, you need to add the objective or purpose of your study along with few of its applications. And this introduction is first chapter of your thesis. Now, the second chapter is review of literature survey. In this review of literature survey, by this time, you would have done extensive literature survey because you have solved all the problems. And for that, you would have done extensive literature survey. So you are going to mention how your topic has evolved by mentioning in detail contributions made by different researchers towards the topic. Also, you are going to give citation in this part. And that forms the second chapter of your thesis. Now, the third part onwards, it is your findings. You would have defined few problems in your synopsis, and you have done a survey, you have done research work on those, and you have got some findings. And on each problem, whatever the findings you have got, that you are going to write chapter wise. And in this each chapter, you need to write introduction about that problem. That is about the problem, whatever the information you have collected, just write a brief introduction and that is important findings, what the other researchers have done towards that you need to mention in introduction part of that chapter. Then next part comes in that chapter is your findings. While writing your findings, write valid proof. Write technical steps that validate your results. And finally, in the chapter, you need to write discussion and conclusion of that chapter by mentioning, if you wish to mention, you can mention if there are any gaps that are to be addressed as open problems. Now, this you are going to do for each and every problem that you have defined in your synopsis. Now, the next part, that is last but one part of your thesis writing, is summary. This summary is chapter-wise brief about your chapters. That is, whatever your findings you have mentioned from chapter 3 onwards, that you are going to summarize in this chapter. And finally, in the bibliography, you are going to mention in detail the references. That is, what are the sources you have referred in order to carry out your research, whether it may be to collect the gather information, or in order to identify your research problems, or in order to carry out your research, whatever the references you have done in detail, you need to mention in this bibliography. And whatever the citations you have mentioned in your literature survey, all those should be included in this bibliography. And this is how you write your thesis. And with this writing of thesis, one level of your research work ends and your actual research begins. Yes, here actually your research begins. You will get to know so many things during this research process. And once after writing thesis, you should not end your research work here. You should continue doing this. That's why I told it is beginning of your research journey. And finally, I would like to mention few of the things to keep yourself motivated, which are not mentioned in any of the research methodology books, but to keep yourself motivated and to keep going, these are very much required. That is, the first one is positive attitude and growth mindset. Yes. Now, gone are the days where the concept of lifelong learning was there. Now, this is the era of learn, unlearn, and relearn. So to do that, you should have open mind to learn new things. For that, you need positive attitude and growth mindset. And in your journey, whether it is a life's journey or research journey, many a times you may feel low or feel like giving up. And if you have conviction, you can overcome all those things. Next is you need to be focused. Yes, you should not lose your track. And to be focused, you need systematic planning with the prioritization of your work. And for this, you need to fix a time frame for yourself. Otherwise, at the end of 4 years, when you reflect back on your work, you will be in the same position where you were 4 years back. So, not only systematic planning with prioritization is important, also give yourself a time frame to execute that. And to do this, a periodic review is very important. During this periodic review, you'll get to know how many plans you could execute, and if not, you find out the reason why you could not do and how to overcome that. So periodic review of your planning is very, very important. Now, last but not the least is networking. Yes, especially I would like to talk about this networking, how to expand your network, especially in your research, why it is important is if you have network, that is, how do you get this network? Just by attending conferences, seminars, or some FDPs, wherever you get chance, just go and attend that, so that you will get to know so many people. That is, young researchers you'll meet there, subject experts, so many people you meet, and you are going to discuss so many things with them. And in that, during the discussion, whatever the information or the knowledge you get, it is nowhere compared. Whatever the knowledge you gain from that discussion is more than what you gain the knowledge by reading a number of books. So networking and keep expanding your network is very, very important. With this, I hope definitely you would succeed in your research work and do good contribution towards quality research work. Thank you.
The floor is now open for questions. If anybody would like to ask anything, they may do so. If you are unable to unmute, you may also ask your questions in the chat section.
Reza, shall I stop my sharing so that you can see the chat box?
Yes, sure, ma'am. All right, we seem to be receiving comments about the value of the session, but it doesn't appear as if anyone has any particular questions. I will just leave it open for a few more moments. If anybody wants to ask something, they may do so.
think most of us are staff. So some of these research students, Harish, if you have any questions, please ask. You are writing your thesis. Research students.
Yes, this will be of particular interest, especially to research students or some faculty who are going ahead with their PhD and research work right now and close to completion of their thesis. Mr. Vignesh has asked, could you tell me about how to create a best theory paper?
Yes. Theory paper means it's not clear for me, Vignesh. Exactly what do you mean by theory paper? I didn't get. Can you tell me what do you mean by that exactly?
Theoretical research work.
Okay. So in theoretical research work, you are going to use the methodologies or the logical explanation to write your proofs, that is, validate your proof. Because you are not going to do any experiment over here. For example, let me take a graph. That is, since I am a graph person of graph theory, so let me take one small example in graph theory. Suppose if you want to prove some result, I'll take a graph. And for example, if I want to write the generalized result or characterization of that, I can use the concept of mathematical induction to prove my result. That is, I'll start with a small number, then I'll do the assumption and I'll try to prove it for general n. So this is how you can generalize or characterize your result, which holds good for a set of problems. And to write this research paper, as you know, the structure of the paper, it varies from journal to journal. And according to their requirement, you need to write the introduction part, then your findings, then your literature survey, then your findings and result discussion and your conclusion part, along with the references at the end. Only thing is, in experimental part, they are going to do experiment and they are writing the result. Here you are going to work on that particular problem and you are going to generalize your result, and to validate that result, you need to write the proof for that. I hope Vignesh is clear.
I hope that answers your question, Vignesh. Yes, he said yes. We have another question from
Yes.
Mr. Harish.
Yeah.
In thesis, inside the introduction itself, can we include the literature review instead of writing a separate chapter?
No. Actually, introduction part is different and literature survey is different. In introduction part, you are going to include only the basics, that what you have used, the terminologies and whatever the basics you have used for your research purpose, along with some of the new concept what you have defined with objectives and applications. Whereas literature part is completely different. It should be the second chapter of your thesis.
Yes, are there any more questions? Okay, it appears as if there are no more questions.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Dr. Leena, on behalf of the St. Joseph management as well as the principal and the research committee. I thank you very much for
I also
coming
would like
and
to thank the management of St. Joseph College for providing me for such a wonderful platform to share my little bit of knowledge and views
yes.
with the learned audience. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And also thank you all the participants for coming in today. There is a feedback form which has been sent in the chat of Zoom, which you will need to fill in order to get your certificate. I will just quickly repost it because it's gone quite high up in the chat. Yeah, there it is. So please do fill up this feedback form in order to avail your certificate. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we will on that note we will end today's session. Thank you.